So after having Georgia and Alabama last week, and next week having the insane slate for Week 7, we still sit here come with Week 6 coming up. Still have to predict the games now. I shit on the slates a lot, and I think it's a bad habit of mine throughout these prediction videos. I really do mean it, especially in between what we have. But we still have a lot of good games. Still college football. We'll still talk about this very fondly at the end of the week. So let's get into predicting. All right. So first game we got Pitt UNC. UNC disaster last week, choking a third quarter league 21-point lead or 20-point lead. Sorry, at Duke. Have been suspect about their defense the entire year. Obviously, I don't think that's not saying anything. They let up 17 points to James Madison. Pitt has been great this year. Complete turnaround. I mean, they've already have more wins than they had last year. They won 3 in line last year. Eli Holstein transferred from Alabama and has completely turned this program around. So I'm going to take Pitt. I think, again, I don't want to say maybe Pitt from old isn't the best thing, but closer to the Pitt we were seeing at the early 2020s, the Pitt that is usually a better team than they were, obviously, last year. Boston College, Virginia. This game's at Virginia. BC's 4-1. Only loss is at Missouri, barely. Virginia is not playing bad football. They're actually playing good football. Virginia is playing good football. This is an upset. Tommy Castellanos, I actually don't know if he's playing or not. That's something I should have probably checked before this predictions, but I didn't. So that could be an issue. I don't think he is playing, though. I'm pretty sure he's not playing, which is big. And last week they had to make some big comeback at the end of the fourth quarter versus Western Kentucky at home, which is not great. Virginia's playing good football. BC, I'll look it up. So there's like no news on it. It seems like Boston College is keeping this pretty hidden. I'm gonna assume he's not playing just because they are keeping it hidden, and actually that's not a great reason. But I'm gonna assume he's not playing, and take Virginia here. Game of the week: Missouri, Texas A&M. We'll say game of the week. Missouri, Texas A&M's favorite in this game. Missouri has been pretty suspect after dominating their first 2 games. They go in, Boston College struggle, Vandy struggle. They are off by, though, this week. Going into Texas A&M has, they haven't even been better since benching Wigman. And honestly, I'm again suspect of West Virginia. Suspect of Texas A&M too. Where did I get West Virginia? Don't even ask. I'm going to take Missouri here to go on the road and beat Texas A&M. I know Texas A&M favored. This one is not something. I'm not very confident in either of these teams' winnings. I'm very suspicious about both teams. Missouri just would be a huge bump for them, though, just because I feel like they've fallen out of any dark horse contention and everything with the Vandy and with the BC games. Even though they are 4-0, they have dropped 3 spots in the polls. They dropped 5 spots at one point. They were 11 a couple weeks ago, or not even last week. They were 11. So, yeah, I guess the perception has lowered on Missouri. But I still trust them to go into A&M, mainly because I just don't trust A&M either. West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Could have been a fun game if West Virginia had not been 2-2. Again, that's a Pitt loss and a Penn State loss. Both teams are undefeated. And Oklahoma State, it's a bad start. It's a bad start, but also to be completely honest with them, for them at least, this could still be a 10-win team. They started 2-2 or 3-2. Sorry, they could still win 10 games. They faced the 2 hardest teams they're going to play the entire season. They just happened to face them in the first 2 games of Big 12 conference play. And last year, they also started to a rocky start. I don't think they were 3-2, but they were around that range and ended up winning a ton of games and then having a 10-win season. Finishes this season, 10-4, 11-3. So, yeah, I'm gonna take Oklahoma State. I still think they're a good team. It's just kind of the schedule they play. But, they haven't played great until Ollie Gordon really gets established, which he looked way better in the Kansas State game than he had the entire rest of the year. Washington, Michigan. This game is really, really interesting. It says 7:30. Yeah, this is primetime NBC. And national championship rematch where nobody or barely anybody played in a national championship. That's fine. Michigan comes again. This is another underdog or top 10 team underdog to, I was going to say unranked team, but Texas A&M is tied for 25th. Washington is favored in this game. Now Washington, they have just, their big thing with Washington is they cannot score the ball. They gain yards. Will Rogers, I feel like there's some sort of thing where he has fallen off. He has been perfectly fine at Washington. He's averaging 270 yards a game, 10 touchdowns, and 0 picks. He's playing great. The run game is playing pretty well too. Penalties killing them, and they're just getting in their own way. I feel like they're gonna break through at one point. The coaching staff is good. The talent is there. They're 89th in offense, 89th in scoring, 21st in offense. I feel like we're gonna see that gap close. Michigan, I've talked shit on them all year, and that has continued not to change. We didn't talk about the Minnesota game in the recap video. And for obvious reasons, they almost let that comeback happen at home too. So I'm going to take Washington here. And now you may be saying you're going to choose Washington to break through versus Michigan. Yes, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. And they don't even need to break through that much. I feel like they can win this game with 24 points. There's a world where even less. Florida UCF could have been a lot more fun. I'm picking UCF, but UCF has played. I'm going to pick Florida here. UCF really disappointed, I think, everybody last week. A lot of the college football people, including myself, were like, watch out for UCF, watch out for UCF. Fell flat on their face versus Colorado. Florida, they're going with a 2-quarterback system. I've hated it. I've always hated it. But going into the swamp, and Florida's obviously talented. A couple weeks ago, I said this game would have been a wash for UCF, and UCF would have washed them. Now I'm picking Florida. We'll skip through. Let's go to Miami Cal for now. I want to talk about Miami Cal because it's game day. And do I mind it being game day? No, I really don't. Go to Cal, have some fun. Let's pick Miami. It sucks. I want to talk about the game day more. I don't really need to. I really feel like I don't need to. I would love to see Cal win, though. That would be awesome. Just especially for that program, too, and everything. Who's Cal's lost to? Florida State? Yeah, that's not a great loss. It's actually weirdly looks like a really bad loss for them. Cal was 4-0. I still picked it with Miami. Duke, Georgia Tech. Duke is 5-0. Now, last year they started well, and it's completely different. It's a different staff. It's different everything. And, the comeback, I like Georgia Tech, though. It's that Georgia Tech. I'm going to pick Georgia Tech. I actually don't know what the spread is. I'm very curious on that one. I'll look it up later. I skipped a game. No, wait, that was the game I skipped. Lastly, Arizona, Texas Tech. Now, Arizona, that great win at Utah. I feel like I acted like Arizona was a bad team when I talked about them, and that was kind of my mistake. I downplayed how talented Arizona is, how good Arizona is. They are a good team. I think they should have probably gotten themselves ranked after last week. That one loss to Kansas State looks awful, and I still don't think the world of Arizona, but especially in a matchup versus Texas, I completely trust them to win this game. But Arizona, I don't know. I really don't know. What's the rest of their schedule? They do face one of the harder schedules in the Big 12 of what Arizona's ceiling is wins-wise. And, that's really it. What is Arizona? Is it Arizona that beat Utah and held Utah to 10 points? Or is it the Arizona who lost 31-7 in Kansas State? Now, usually in these videos also, I end up pulling some games out myself and being like, off top of head, but I really don't have any this week. What's the Friday game? Oregon, Michigan State? I don't mean to make a prediction for that one. So that'll be it for predictions. Thank you all for watching. Discord in the description. See ya.